Hello friends! Welcome to Eat, Read, Sleep. Kalina here with my best buddy Tapas. And today we are sharing a quick book summary on a book that has helped maintain our motivation every day at work. Atomic Habits, written by James Clear.
Don't forget to join us every Thursday for our deep dive discussions and every Friday for our short summaries of weekly motivational book. Smash that subscribe button so you don't miss out. All right, Cal, are you ready to vibe with this book?
Let's do it! Now, this book has it all in the title. Atomic Habits, an easy and proven way to build good habits and break bad ones. The premise of this book is that there is no single one secret to having a successful life. It is many habits that compound and create a system of living. This book calls out that one single habit may change your life by only 1%, which may be too small to notice, but 1% every day, now that adds up to palpable power from just tiny daily changes.
Atomic Habits can be broken down into the four following overarching themes. The first one is the surprising power of atomic habits. Second one is create systems, not goals. Third one being identify change, habits that shape your identity and vice versa. And lastly, the 4 laws of behavior change, how to build habits for 4 simple steps. Let's take a deeper look. Surprising power of atomic habits. From the book, a slight change in your daily habits can guide your life in a very different destination. The 1% rule. Make small changes of 1% each day that leads to a compound effect over time, thereby achieving an even greater exponential impact. In fact, 1% every day for a year will compound to 37.7% better. Quote from the book, success is a product of daily habits, not once in a lifetime transformations. The truth about progress. It's not a linear and a consistent growth. There's a valley of disappointment where there is so much effort put in, and yet you don't see results. This is where people give up and slip back. The most powerful impact of any compound are delayed, so patience is required to get the breakthrough of your plateau. A great example of this is the water temperature. 212 degrees Fahrenheit or 100 degrees Celsius is where the water starts to boil. You can increase the temperature little by little, but it's not going to boil the water. It just gets a little warmer and a little warmer. Then all of a sudden, boom, you start to see a huge change across that threshold. Small incremental changes that can lead to the breakthrough point in yourself. Stick to it until you break through the plateau to see your outcomes. Second is create systems, not goals. An excerpt from the book. Long-term planning is goal-less planning. Everyone has a goal. But if that's all you have, you may not get very far. There are 4 main problems with only having goals. People win or lose, they all have the same goal. Only momentary changes happen when you hit your goal in that moment in time. Once you achieve your goal, the high only lasts for so long. The either or conflict. Either you achieve the goal and succeed, or you don't and you're a failure, even if you make progress in the right direction. Goal versus long-term progress. What happens after you achieve your goal? Your motivation quickly starts to fade once you accomplish your goal. You'll quickly fall back into your old routines. And this is why Clear states goals are good for setting a direction, but systems are best for making progress. For example, if you want to finish a marathon, you don't just aim to complete the race, but think through how you will actually get there. Processes could include waking up every single day, running every day, eating right, and recover properly. A sports example from the legendary football coach who took a losing team to the championship, Bill Walsh. Don't just look at the scorecard. Everyone wants to win. If you have a good system and everyone is doing their part and making their plays, you will eventually win the game because the score will take care of itself.
The third theme is identity change. Habits shape your identity and vice versa. How you think of yourself as a person shifts how you behave and act. Identity is the foundation of every lasting change. From the goal example of finishing a marathon in which you don't just aim to complete the race, but think through the process to get to success, you must also change your identity. Therefore, the goal is not to run a marathon, but the goal is to become a runner. Another example is if you're trying to quit smoking. If you say, I'm trying to quit versus I'm not a smoker, you can really see that those are 2 very different approaches. I'm trying versus I'm done with it. However, it's not simply enough to just say you are something. Actions prove your identity. You must perform the actions to make it true. This is where it's important to make your process very clear and concise in order to have actions to give proof of who you are. And the last theme is the heart of atomic habits. 4 laws of behavior change. How to build habits in 4 simple steps. First, make it obvious. Second, make it attractive. Third, make it easy. And fourth, make it satisfying. The first behavior law is make it obvious. This is also known as the cue. This is what triggers the brain to a certain behavior. You can make it obvious by creating a system that allows you to see how to get there versus just what the end goal is. So, how do you start new habits? Clear introduces a concept called habit stacking. What people find difficult when they start a new habit is that maybe they do it once, they do it twice, and then it kind of trails off and loses consistency. What can help is habit stack. What that means is to add a new habit onto an existing habit to make it very clear and very obvious. For example, if you want to start exercising, identify the new habit with exactly when, what, and where. At the end of the day, at 5 p.m., when I shut down my laptop, I will do 10 push-ups in my office. Together, this clarifies not just the when, what, and where, but also the how.
The second law of behavior change is to make it attractive. This is also known as the craving, the motivation behind the habit. This is all about making what you want to do, taking that behavior change and making it into something that's so irresistible that you actually have to do it. Conversely, you want to make sure it's not unattractive or boring, something that you don't want to do. You will also need to identify and fix your current bad habits that could be getting in your way. Identify the root cause, define it, and then make it hard to access or figure out how to eliminate altogether. The inverse of this law of making it attractive is to make it invisible, make it unattractive, make it difficult, and lastly, make it unsatisfying. This is great for breaking bad habits.
The third law of behavior change is to make it easy. This is also known as the response, the action to perform. Clear emphasizes walk slowly forward, but never backward. This chapter introduces the 2-minute rule. Just giving something 2 minutes, start small. If you want to read a big, crazy long book that you don't have time for, that's fine. Start by reading 2 pages a day. Over time, you will slowly build a habit, and those 2 pages could become 20 pages. Maybe even 200. Anything that will propel you forward. To make good habits easy, you make it inevitable. And in effect, you make bad habits impossible.
And lastly, the fourth and final law of behavior change is to make it satisfying. This is a reward, which has 2 purposes, to satisfy and to teach. The first 3 laws, make it obvious, attractive, and easy, are all about doing it this time, actually doing it now. This last law, making satisfying, is ensuring that you will continue to do it for next time. This is a tale on creating a system, where you are not just making a system, but you will also continue to progress towards and continue to do it every day. The importance of this step is to address the innate need of immediate reward versus delayed reward. Research shows you're more likely to repeat something if it's something that is rewarding or is something that you want to do. So how do you create immediate pleasure in order to have a reputation of what you're doing? Think through what makes you feel good or gives you a sense of completion. It can be small, like list where you're physically checking off a completion, or move a marble from one jar to another to physically track your progress, or it can be bigger, like setting aside $50 every single time you complete your habit to pay for a dream vacation. Whatever you decide to do, make it satisfying, so you'll quickly turn your new action into a habit on autopilot.
So, how do you sit down to make a plan for yourself to make sure you are very successful? A lot of times people will say, well, I just don't have time to do A, B, C, or D. But if you actually sit down, invest in time in the beginning to create a step-by-step plan based on the 4 laws of the behavior change, you don't find yourself in a position where you don't have time because your time is already outlined and spent productively. In effect, you are creating more time for other things. Conversely, if your time is not accounted for with a plan, you're kind of just scrambling around, figuring out as you go, and that's when you actually waste time and start feeling like, hey, I don't have time for anything else. This book also provides links to worksheets that you can fill out with all of your routines and habits, good, bad, neutral, to plan and ensure that your atomic habits become life-changing progress.
In summary, Atomic Habits is all about making small steps and the surprising power of atomic habits to compound and create lasting impact for the rest of your life. Create systems and not just come up with goals, habits that shape your identity and vice versa. So identify who you want to be and stick with it and say, this is who I am. Build habits in 4 simple steps. Make it obvious, make it attractive, make it easy, finally, make it satisfying.
Thank you all for joining the Eat, Read, Sleep community today. We hope you enjoyed this brief recap. For those of you who have not read this book, we hope that we've made it attractive for you to actually pick up Atomic Habits in the future and maybe start by just reading 2 pages a day. If you have read this book and would like to add additional takeaways that we left out, please do so in the comments. We would love to hear what you gained most from this book. Join our Eat, Read, Sleep community by hitting the subscribe link after this video, and we look forward to seeing you all next week.